Hello everybody, Film Trigger here. My name is Stevie Cade, and today I'm going to do my ranking of the DCEU leading up to SHAZAM that have come out so far. I might have some unpopular opinions in there. If so, no need to get nasty. We're all good people around here, but feel free to share your opinion or where you disagree or agree with me at. Again, that's in the comment section below. I'll be hanging out with you down there. Let's go from the worst to the best. And the worst is going to be Justice League. I'm pretty sure a lot of you saw that coming. It was the beginning of the end of the DCEU. Two different visions going on in this movie. You got Zack Snyder's vision, yet you can see bits and pieces of here and there. And the other vision, I would like to say, was Joss Whedon, but no. It was Joss Whedon playing Yes Man to Warner Brothers and doing whatever they demanded of him. It was painfully obvious reshoots. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. With the mustache and the... What? He's right behind me, isn't he? And as a whole, the movie felt completely disjointed from the previous two films. If it was a standalone film and had nothing to do with the DCEU, I would give it a solid C+, maybe. Yeah, since it was the next movie after BVS, it was a major disappointment and ranked worst on this list. Number 6 on this list is going to be SHAZAM. Yes, I know, SHAZAM. It got a lot of praises. It really did. A lot of people hyped this movie up, but I'll tell you what, it did not live up to the hype for me. And for a couple different reasons. Number one, Zachary Levi. He was a great SHAZAM, but I did not believe him as the brooding, angst-filled Billy Batson that they portrayed in the movie. But I felt like they were just two completely different people. Zachary Levi was playing your textbook 13-year-old or 15-year-old, while the actual Billy Batson had the soul of somebody much older because of what he's been through, you know, jumping from foster home to foster home, and so on and so forth. I didn't feel that they were connected very, very well. The jokes, some of them hit, most of them missed. All in all, I was anticipating for all that great moment that everyone hyped it up to be, and I just never really got it. I mean, overall, the movie was okay. It's okay, but I have no real desire to watch it again. So, number 5, Wonder Woman. Again, overall, the videography, the acting, the visuals, they were fine. They did good. Where it fell short with me was, it felt like Captain America meets Black Panther. So much so, I felt like I already seen this movie before. Also, I have watched it twice, and I don't really remember what it's about. Like, I don't know. I guess my mind's not fully in it, which means to me it's not immersing me into the story well enough. But I will give it another shot and really just kind of pay attention to it. So maybe it'll change in my ranking over time. But as of now, it's a solid 5. Going down to 4, Suicide Squad. The movie was a lot of fun for me, but the story fell short. It suffered the same fate as Josh Trank's Fantastic Four and Justice League. I wonder what Josh Trank, Fantastic Four, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and David Ayer's Suicide Squad have in common. Just can't figure it out. Another strike against it would be the Joker. And there was obviously a lot of Joker on the cutting room floor. When it comes to Jared Leto's Joker, I'm on the fence. I can see where they're going with it, and I'm okay with that. But they didn't sell it good enough, or at least the final edit didn't sell it good enough. But I think what carried this movie was the chemistry between all the actors. You could tell they really enjoyed working with each other, and they had a lot of fun, and that came through. But I do enjoy watching it, and if it happens to be on TV or something like that, I would watch it, again. So, number 3, Aquaman. And now, Aquaman and Suicide Squad, those two kind of went back and forth in my head, and it pretty much came down to Aquaman for 2 different reasons. Number one, it's visually stunning. It's a masterpiece of visual arts. And number two, the story was solid. It felt like a continuation from the Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman type of world, the DCEU. It's a visually stunning movie. I'm literally watching a man ride a seahorse while fighting
sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
And not only was it fun, but I believed in it. Jason Momoa's acting, on the other hand, I'm on the fence about that. He was okay. I think everything around him carried this movie more than he did, except for his overall badassness that he shines. But I felt like he was reading cue cards a lot of the times in that movie. Not insulting Momoa. I like Momoa. I like his role, but I don't know, some of the lines just didn't hit it for me. It felt very phoned in. The overall action and visuals carried that movie through. So, number 2 and 1. I ended up landing with Man of Steel being number 2 on this list. And here's why. First of all, grounded, gritty Superman was a breath of fresh air. I've already seen the Boy Scout Superman multiple times. The 4 original films, and then the Superman Returns, which was a continuation of the original films, technically a 5th film, if you will. This was different, and it was nice. It felt good. And I've always considered Superman to be too convenient of a superhero. I think I saw a meme once that said, Justice League at 100%, and it shows all Justice League members. It says Justice League at 99.9%, and just shows Superman. That's very true. But what this movie did, it showed me that the greater the power, the greater the consequences that come with it. And this movie had great consequences. And when Superman is faced with somebody of his own caliber, the human race will ultimately suffer from it. And that's a lesson that he learned in that movie. He never fought anybody like that before. He had no idea that they were going to destroy the city. And in BVS, he learned his lesson. He took Doomsday out into outer space, tried to get him away from the city. Evolution of characters. Zack Snyder had a beautiful vision of how to evolve these characters, and unfortunately people just weren't patient enough for that. Also, it has the best comic book villain ever. Michael Shannon, Zod. He is comparable to Thanos in the sense that his integrity comes from trying to save the Kryptonian race at any cost. Obviously Thanos thinks he's saving the universe by wiping out half of it. And that's what makes a great villain is, to a certain degree, you can actually understand his integrity. You can understand his point, and you kind of feel for him a little bit. And they did that in this movie. It came down to Superman choosing between his own people and the human race. And he chose the human race. And it hurt him. It tortured him. Which segued into BVS, and I don't know why people don't see that. Anyway, got my handy dandy wine. Also, Lois knowing his identity, cool. I always thought that her not knowing his identity really dumbed down her character, especially a woman who's supposed to be highly intelligent. Not much gets past her. So why can't she make this connection between Superman and Clark Kent? She actually discovers that for herself, and I love that. No, there's still no real excuse for Perry not understanding. Or maybe he does, he's just being quiet about it. There's a thought, maybe Perry knows. But yes, that's why Man of Steel lands number 2 on the list. So obviously this leaves Batman vs. Superman as number 1. That's because of its overall epicness. I mean, Zack Snyder brought real human emotions to these out-of-world cosmic characters. The consequences of their actions and their evolution is amazing. I mean, Batman, prime example. Batman killing. I mean, again, we've never seen that Batman. Just like we never seen this Superman. It was a breath of fresh air to see Batman's beaten down. He's he's hurt, but he's trying to save the world. And it's almost a desperate attempt to save the world. And in doing so, he realizes the errors of his actions. And that was going to set up more of his arc of coming back to his original integrity as Batman. But we never saw that. Instead, we got...
Yeah. Oh, something is definitely bleeding.
that. And also, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I don't care what you say. That was a fantastic Lex Luthor. How are we going to sit there and watch Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor and accept that with smiling faces? Like, I love it. Great Lex Luthor. Doesn't shave his head? I don't care. But this Lex Luthor is an abomination. That's not Lex Luthor. Listen, that's Lex Luthor's kid, which is believable in the sense that he's a whiny little prick. But he's also highly intelligent, and that, in a sense, is his superpower in the movie.
You're psychotic. That is a three-syllable word for any thought too big for little minds.
And he suffered from realistic social problems that a highly intelligent person would actually suffer from. You know, coming across awkward and quirky. And I thought that was a great take on him. Now, I'd say where Batman vs. Superman, in my opinion, really suffered from was it was too much too fast. And I understand we got to get through this stuff to get to the bigger picture, but it probably could have done well to have one movie in between Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman to kind of introduce that Batman character a little bit more and dive more into why he is the way he is and watch Superman's decline emotionally to figure out where he is, why he is where he is. In that sense, I will give you that. But suspension of disbelief, guys. I mean, it's not that hard to know, okay, well, obviously they're going through some shit. And the other thing it suffered from was people just wanting to see the same old crap they've seen over and over and over again. I don't quite understand that. I mean, they gave him that with Superman Returns, and it bombed. So, I don't know. Maybe Warner Brothers should just stop listening to people and just let the artists and directors make their movies and sit back and collect the cash. I mean, this movie did over $800 million. Failure! Well, anyway, that's my ranking of the DCEU. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments section. And while you're hanging out down there, hit the subscribe button and the bell ding thing so you can get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.